Okay, so AI art, right. It's like everywhere these days. But you've sent us something really interesting, this paper about a new AI model, Meissonic is the name, and it sounds like it's doing things a little differently.
Yeah, definitely shaking things up a bit. There's a lot of buzz about Meissonic, and for good reason.
See, for me, it's always the how that gets me. Like, I get the whole text prompt, amazing image thing, but what's actually going on under the hood?
Well, it's code, but it feels like magic sometimes. A lot of the big names right now, like Stable Diffusion and all those, they mostly use these diffusion models.
And they make some amazing stuff. I mean, I've seen photorealistic images, paintings that look like they're straight out of the Louvre. It seems like those diffusion models have it all covered.
They're powerful, no doubt. But here's the catch. Diffusion models, they think about information differently than language models do. Like different languages almost.
Hmm.
Makes it tricky to get them to really get what we mean, creatively.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Recognizing a cat in a hat, that's one thing, but understanding when I say I want that cat to look slightly mischievous.
Exactly. That's where Meissonic takes a different road. It's not a diffusion model. It's using something called mask image modeling. Uh, MIM for short.
Mim. Okay, I think I've heard of that. Isn't that kind of like how some language models learn by hiding words and making the AI guess?
Right. But instead of words, Meissonic predicts the missing parts of an image, like a visual puzzle, figuring out what goes where based on what's there and the words used to describe it.
So it's not just seeing the pixels, it's like understanding them in relation to the language too. That's wild.
And it manages this with, get this, a mix of multimodal and single-modal transformer layers.
Okay, now you're just using the big words.
Sorry. But imagine it like specialized teams inside the AI. Some look at the big picture, connecting the text to the overall image, while others focus on the details, all working together.
So working smarter, not harder. I like it.
Exactly. And the result is, it's not just creative, it's efficient, like crazy efficient. Gets comparable, sometimes even better, results than models way bigger than it is. And it can run on, pretty normal computer.
Wait, seriously, like I could make high-res AI art on this thing.
Potentially, yeah. That kind of accessibility could change the game for a lot of people.
Okay, my mind is already a little blown here, and we're just getting started. So for those of us who are, like me, dying to see what this AI can do, let's talk about the art itself.
Oh, yeah, we're just getting to the good stuff. When you
Yeah.
talk about what Meissonic can do, it's not just the tech, it's the results, right? And they're pretty impressive.
Well, don't hold out on me. What are we looking at here visually? Does my Sonic have a style? What makes it stand out?
That's the thing. There's the traditional way of judging AI art, all these metrics, FID, C-LEP, set score, but those are more about like technical stuff, how well the AI replicates patterns and all that.
Not necessarily what looks good to us regular humans.
Exactly. Imagine a computer judging a painting. It's going to focus on straight lines, accurate colors, but not the thing that gives you goosebumps.
Right, that feeling, that's what art is.
And the Meissonic folks, they get that. Instead of chasing numbers, they focused on how humans actually respond to the images.
Okay, now I'm really interested. How do you even measure that, the human element?
So they use this thing called HBSV2, Human Preference Score, fancy name.
Mm.
Basically, they showed people images from different AIs, Meissonic included, and said, what do you like?
Don't leave me hanging.
Meissonic scored high, consistently, especially at those big, juicy resolutions. People dug what they were seeing.
So, like, genuine preference, not just, oh, the AI did a good job technically. That's pretty cool.
Right. And remember how we talked about Meissonic understanding language better? Well, they tested that too. There's this benchmark, Generative. It measures how well an AI gets those complex prompts, the creative ones.
So not just spitting out a literal cat wearing a hat, but getting the mood, the style, all that.
Exactly. Meissonic crushed it, outperformed the competition, showing it can actually keep up with what we're trying to express.
This is honestly more impressive the deeper we go.
Yeah.
But you mentioned making sure it could handle, like, real prompts. What does that mean?
Well, a lot of AI research, the prompts are super specific, like detailed instructions for the AI. But the Meissonic folks, they wanted to see how it did with the way people actually talk when they're being creative, which is messier.
Great. So less photorealistic cat, top hat, and more like cat that embodies the spirit of jazz.
You got it. They made a whole data set, 800 real prompts from users, called it Real User 800, to see if Meissonic could handle the chaos.
No way. How'd it go?
It aced it, of course. Used this special score, Multi-Dimensional Human Preference Score, MPS, and Meissonic came out on top again. Real-world prompts, no problem.
That's wild. It's like instead of a tool, it's becoming more of a, I don't know, a creative partner almost.
Love that way of putting it. But it gets even cooler when you think about what else it can do, beyond just making images from scratch. This is where things get really interesting.
All right, you are about to spill the tea on what else Meissonic can do besides make these amazing images from scratch. Lay it on me.
Well, hold on to your hats because this is where it gets really exciting. Remember how we talked about those traditional AI models needing very specific training for things like, say, adding a hat to a picture? Meissonic can skip that whole step. It can do image editing on the fly with just a text prompt.
Wait, seriously, is that even possible?
It is with Meissonic. They call it zero-shot image editing. It's like having a conversation with the AI about an existing image, tweaking it with words instead of clunky software.
Okay, this whole idea of zero-shot editing is blowing my mind a little. So I could take, like, a picture I took on my phone and tell Meissonic to add a flock of birds in the background. Replace my friend's fanny pack with a designer purse.
You're getting the hang of it. And what's fascinating is that Meissonic isn't just messing around here. It's actually performing at a high level. The researchers tested it on something called the EMU Edit dataset, which is designed specifically to see how well an AI can do this kind of on-the-fly image editing.
How did Meissonic stack up?
It actually outperformed models that were specifically trained for image editing tasks. It's like acing a test you didn't even study for.
That's seriously impressive. What I'm hearing is that Meissonic isn't just following instructions, it's understanding something more fundamental about images and language. It's like it's learned the visual grammar of how things go together in a way that lets it adapt to new tasks.
Exactly. And that's a big deal for the future of AI. It suggests a level of flexibility and potential that we haven't really seen before.
It makes you wonder, where does it end? If Meissonic can do all this now, what will AI art be capable of in a few years?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The paper even mentions that they explored other applications for Meissonic's abilities, things like designing custom lettering, generating memes, even making those little cartoon stickers people love.
Okay, now you're just showing off. But seriously, it sounds like this technology is moving incredibly fast. We've gone from pixelated blobs to AI that can understand our creative intentions, adapt to new tasks, and maybe even make us laugh with a well-timed meme. It's kind of wild when you think about it.
It really is a fascinating time to be working in this field.
So, for our listeners who are just as excited about the future of AI art as we are, what's the big takeaway here? What does Meissonic's approach, this focus on aligning with human language and understanding, what does it tell us about where things might be headed?
I think Meissonic is a glimpse into a future where creating with AI becomes much more intuitive, more like a conversation. We'll go from giving the AI very specific instructions to having a back and forth, guiding the creative process with our words, our emotions, our unique perspectives.
It's like we're moving from AI as a tool to AI as a creative collaborator, almost a partner in bringing our ideas to life.
I love that way of thinking about it. And the possibilities, they really are endless.
Well, on that inspiring note, we'll leave our listeners to ponder the possibilities. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the fascinating world of Meissonic and the future of AI art. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and as always, happy learning.